Hello, and a warm welcome to each and every member of our community at SBL Academy. I'm sure you will recognise it's Ms Deady, Vice Principal, and I will be leading this week's assembly. I wanted to start by thanking you for playing your part in staying at home over the last 6 weeks of lockdown. We know it isn't easy and has presented many challenges. But we also know if we all play our part and do the right thing, we will recover from this crisis. I also wanted to take this opportunity to thank you on behalf of your teachers, as the feedback on the way the majority of you have engaged with home learning and adapted to a new way of working is incredible. Well done. The theme of this week's assembly is fake news. You may be asking why. With the majority of us in lockdown during the pandemic, we are relying on the news to keep us informed with regard to the world around us, as we should, so it's important the news is accurate and correct. On the screen now is the Cambridge Dictionary definition of what is quite a modern term. I'm sure many of us are aware of this term as it is a phrase often used by the President of the United States, Donald Trump. In last week's assembly, Ms Sharp discussed different ways you can support and promote your physical and emotional well-being. In lockdown, this is more important than ever, with so many of us able to access the news through a variety of different social media platforms. We live in a world, and you are of a generation where information is instant and at the click of a button. It is more important than ever to ensure those sources of news are reliable and true, as unfortunately there have been many news stories in relation to COVID-19 that are untrue, and this can have a detrimental effect on our emotional well-being, leaving us feeling anxious and worried. Or potentially our physical well-being if we read or listen to misleading advice with regard to keeping ourselves safe. For all of these reasons, it's really important you use trusted sources to keep abreast of the news, such as the BBC. A recent BBC report stated social networks should have a button to flag up bogus coronavirus-related posts. I personally think this is an excellent idea when you look at some of the statistics. A report indicated in the first week of lockdown, 46% of internet-using adults here in the UK saw misleading information about COVID-19. For me, what is even more worrying is this figure increased to 58% in the younger age bracket of 18 to 24-year-olds. As you can see from the screen, people could have potentially read false or misleading advice on how to protect their health during this outbreak, and this could have a detrimental effect on their well-being. It's really important we only use reliable sources to seek the news. It's also important for us to think about the part we play in ensuring we don't contribute to the issue of fake news modern society has to contend with. Many of us will upload information to the internet through various social media platforms. We always need to think, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And most importantly, is it kind? It's really important that we put these checks in place, not only during this period of lockdown, where I guess there could be even more temptation to immerse ourselves in social media, but throughout our lives. As we know, once something has been posted, it is difficult to retract. Even if we remove it, it will exist somewhere. It is important not to post anything you will later regret, as it could even have repercussions later in life, perhaps when you are starting a career. Always be kind and treat others, particularly online, as you would wish to be treated yourself. It is of the utmost importance we only use reliable sources if we have any concerns about our health, particularly during the pandemic. In this country, we are so fortunate to have the National Health Service, and this should be the first or perhaps only source we consult. Relying on the internet to diagnose any symptoms or health concerns should be avoided if possible, as it can leave us feeling anxious and concerned. Remember, it's perfectly normal for all of us to have a heightened awareness of our health during the coronavirus outbreak, but if you have any serious concerns, you should always seek help from a medical professional. Now let's take a moment to reflect on some good news that has emerged during this period. I'm sure all of you will have followed the story on Captain, or as I should now say, Colonel Tom Moore, who initially aimed to raise £1,000 for the NHS by completing 100 lengths of his garden by his 100th birthday. On his birthday last Thursday, he had raised a staggering £32 million for the NHS and become the oldest person to have a #1 single. What an incredible story. Colonel Tom Moore has become a symbol of hope during these times and shows what you can achieve if you set goals, whatever your age, and put your mind to something. It's also a great example of what we can achieve as a nation when we all come together and work together. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you if you've had an opportunity to donate to this cause. It is completely normal, and all of us have felt a little overwhelmed at times when we listen to the news to keep abreast of what is happening around us. If you feel like this, take a break. On the screen I've shared some of the ways I like to do this. I immerse myself in a book. This is my current read because I love an Agatha Christie style whodunit. On that note, you will soon receive information on how we can give you access to a wealth of ebooks, exciting news and more to follow. Like most of the nation, I also like to jump around in front of the TV to Joe Wicks, but I thought an image of him doing this is probably better than me. Take a walk, socially distanced of course, but fresh air and exercise is really important for your health. I'm fortunate to own 2 dogs, so this forces me out every day, come rain or shine, even when I don't want to. And as you can see, if you look really closely at the final image, 2 dogs has become 8 in my household, so lockdown has been very interesting in this respect. And now a very tenuous link, I know, but this isn't fake news. Your parents and carers have been informed when your subject teachers will be setting assessments over the course of this term. Please engage with them, as this will provide a fantastic opportunity for your teachers to provide feedback whilst you are studying at home. As you can see from this slide, this is the timetable for years 7, 8 and 9. As you can see, it's a similar pattern of assessment in years 10 and 12, although there are some subjects where students are continuing to work on ongoing coursework. Your teachers know you are studying in the most unusual of circumstances. Please do not feel worried about the assessments. The outcomes will simply be used by your teachers to provide you with feedback to help with your subsequent learning experiences. And finally, the mantra that has become part of the vocabulary of our everyday lives. Stay at home, protect the NHS, save lives. We know how important it is to stay at home. As I said previously, it's not without its challenges, but we thank you for continuing to do this. We know that a big part of the strategy in the UK has been to protect the NHS. We are so fortunate to have access to free healthcare, and more than ever, we should not take this for granted. I am so proud of us as a nation when we clap at 8 o'clock every Thursday to show our utmost respect and appreciation for all NHS and other key workers on the front line during this time. And for me, this is another wonderful example of what we can achieve when we come together in society. So final thoughts from me with regard to this week's Assembly theme. Keep abreast of the news, it's important, but ensure your news stories are accurate. And importantly, if you need to take a break from the news, take a break and look after your own well-being. Thank you, and I hope you're able to have a good week.